Your organisation runs training courses for your staff and customers. Only problem is it's time-consuming, inconvenient and costly. Take a leaf out of our book. The School of Hard Knock Knocks uses the online training platform by YZ, and our team and customers love it. It's simple to use, supports every media format, audio, video, text, and looks great on desktops, tablets and mobiles. And for a limited time, quote SHKK when you arrange a demo and get 10% off your first year's plan. YZ helps us deliver comedy courses around the world. Imagine what it could do for your organisation. YZ, that's WYZED.com. YZ, online learning made simple. You're listening to the School of Hard Knock Knocks podcast with me, Maury Morgan.
Ladies and gentlemen, your next comedian.
Shouldn't drink on an empty head, you know that, don't you?
That is the shittiest heckle I have ever heard in my life.
Everyone in this room is now dumber for having listened to it.
What's a bucket list?
You have dangerously underprepared yourself for the shit that is about to get real.
There's no straight line in building a stand-up comedy career, and this fact is highlighted in my interview with Korean-Chinese comedian, now an American citizen, Joe Wong. In this School of Hard Knock Knocks podcast interview, you'll learn how Joe moved from Jilin Province in China, became a chemical engineer, and then performed at the White House. He's performed stand-up on David Letterman's The Late Show, Ellen DeGeneres' show, Ellen, and The Late Show with Stephen Colbert, just to name a few. He's now a China-based TV host, uncovering myths and making jokes, and one of China's most successful stand-up comedy exports. Now, this interview was conducted in a Beijing coffee shop, so please ignore the background noise. Nonetheless, here's the awesome Joe Wong.
Folks, my next guest is a stand-up comedian and host of my favorite late-night show in China, Is It True? Please welcome all the way from Beijing, Joe Wong.
Hello. Hi, everybody. Hello, people up there. Hello. So, I am actually an American immigrant. And they say that America is a country of immigrants. So, I have to ask you guys, please leave my country. I'm serious. We have a zero tolerance policy right now. I heard that Asians have become the fastest growing immigrant group in America, which is really amazing because Mexicans can cross the river and come here. And I have to fly thousands of miles to Mexico. And then cross that river. Trump wants to build a wall to stop immigration. I'm from China. So I know a lot about walls. They don't work.
G'day, Joe Wong. How are you?
Good day, Maury. I'm good.
Oh, that's a good g'day.
Yeah, really.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah. It's a hard one, actually.
Yeah, practicing my Australianism.
Oh, fantastic. Well, we are not in Australia. This is actually my very first interview outside of Australia.
Oh.
That noise in the background is the coffee barista.
Yes.
Hand crushing the coffee beans, I believe.
Oh, yes, pounding the coffee beans with his fist.
We are in Beijing. Beijing, China.
Yes, exactly. Shuangjing.
Xuanjing?
Yeah.
To be specific, which is the district within Beijing.
Oh, Chaoyang district.
Oh, Chaoyang district.
Yeah, so you want people to find us here right now.
Well, I think China already knows we're here. Certain authorities probably are recording this, and hello.
Yeah.
This is our first interview. Now, Joe Wong, you're a reasonable celebrity in Australia, given the fact that you weren't born there and you have nothing really to do with Australia.
Well, if you say I'm a celebrity, I guess I am, because at least one person knows me.
Definitely. In fact, you were on Charlie Pickering's show on the ABC, the Australian Broadcasting Corporation show, our ABC.
Oh yeah, that's pretty good. You know, I had a great experience there, and they say that they had about 500,000 people who watched the episode.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So look, you are famous, and I think you are
a remarkable comedian simply because you are, and I believe, a Korean Chinese American.
Yes, yeah.
That is a big mouthful.
Yeah, sounds like a Ancestry.com result, you know.
It does. And 10% African American. Yeah, right. Well, that's a fantastic sort of intro to who you are, and for anyone listening, the noises in the background are just normal for any coffee shop in China. So
yes, yeah.
We're not in a Starbucks. We're in a local Chinese.
Yeah, this is considered a very quiet coffee shop.
It is. Yeah. The jackhammering starts at 12. Very good. So now, for those people who, and I borrow your joke, for those that don't know me, you're thinking, who am I? That was, I screwed that joke up, but that was your joke at the White House, which is the Radio and Television Correspondents' Dinner.
Yes.
RTCA.
Yeah.
Oh, there's no dinner in there? What's the A part?
A is association.
But it was a dinner.
Yeah, it was a dinner.
Okay.
Yeah.
You did get a meal.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
That's important.
I have to eat a meal on the dais, facing 2,000 people. It's not a very comfortable dinner.
Wow.
It's a decent steak, but it's just that when you eat in front of so many people, it's a little bit odd.
And was the mic still on?
Yeah, exactly.
No, right.
Yeah.
Well, that would certainly, if I was in that situation, that would be a highlight of my comedy career. But not only have you done that and performed to the vice president at the time, who was that
Joe Biden.
Joe Biden.
Yeah.
You also have performed on Stephen Colbert's show. Colbert, was that recently?
Yes, that was last December.
Oh yeah,
yeah.
So that's popping up on YouTube's all over the world at the moment. Also, Ellen DeGeneres' show. You've done that as well.
Yeah.
I don't know if that was a couple of years ago or recently.
Yeah, well, that was a long time ago. Yeah, it's almost 10 years ago now. Yeah.
And David Letterman. How long ago was that? Because he's been
that
away.
Was 7 years ago.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Fantastic. But these are, top as a comedian, international comedian, these are the types of shows you want to be on.
Yes. The late night comedy spots don't carry as much weight as before, but still, it's an honor to be on it, and you got millions of people watching it, so it's not bad.
We get to you being very humble later on in my question, but I want to go back a step, because that's. People now know who you are and what you've achieved, but where did it all begin? Where did the young boy of Korean heritage living in China, in Jilin Province, who then went off to study in America, chemical engineering, where did it all begin? Where was your first gig?
Oh, yeah. It kind of all began in Boston after I got my PhD in biochemistry in Houston. Then I moved to Boston for a job.
Yep.
And then I tried my first stand-up set in very early 2002. And it was at a sports bar.
Yep.
There's football playing on the TV. There's a pool table. There was even a bowling alley there. It was an extremely noisy place, and maybe only a handful of people were paying attention to the comedians. Yeah, but that's how I did my first show, basically. Yeah.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
And was that an open mic, or was that a...
Yes, open mic.
Yeah. And what did you do? Just pop up, turn up? Is it that kind of turn up on the night, or did you have to send someone a message? Or...
Oh, yeah, of course. I have to send people email, confirm it, go there, and I can't even see the stage until basically it's a little mic stand at the corner.
Oh, right.
Yeah.
Have you ever gone back and played that room again?
Oh, that room disappeared.
Oh.
Yeah.
Yeah. But very humble beginnings.
Yeah. So it's kind of with everybody else,
Yeah, I love how you just sort of skipped over the whole chemical engineering PhD. Any Asian Australian or any Asian who's listening to this is thinking, well, of course he got a master's or a PhD, or he's a doctor or a lawyer or a chemical engineer.
Yeah, when I was in Boston, a lot of people believe I was an MIT graduate.
Oh yeah.
I have a very hard time convincing them that I'm not from MIT. Yeah, exactly. But then I told people, oh, I actually am from Rice. They were like, nah, that's impossible.
Yeah. Well, there you go. And more importantly, what did your parents think about this cultural shift from, a professional, educated, intellectual to being a stand-up comedian?
Well, I didn't quite tell them for the first 10 years or so.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay.
And my mom is still blaming my wife for not preventing me from getting into comedy even now.
There you go. So you don't have any, is your, one of your parents or an uncle a funny guy? I mean, where does this come from?
Yeah, I mean, all my parents are funny, my uncles are funny. They're very outgoing and fun-loving people.
Yep.
I was kind of a quiet kid at home. My younger brother was the funny one usually. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Just one younger. Did you have an older?
No, just one younger brother. Yeah.
Oh, fantastic! And being a Korean Chinese makes you a minority in China.
Yeah.
I mean, on a piece of paper.
Yes, exactly. Yeah.
In fact, I think on your ID card, which you may not have anymore because you're American, it would say Korean, would it?
Yes. When I was growing up, I grew up in a predominantly Chinese community, and my classmates would call me, essentially like freaking Korean or something. So there's a nickname, Gali Bonz.
Gali Bonz.
Yeah. Oh well, you probably shouldn't say it in front of Korean people.
We apologize.
Yeah, it's okay. Yeah, but that's okay.
What does it translate to?
Well, basically just like a slur for Koreans. Yeah, but at the time I didn't know. I was like, oh no, I'm not Gali Bonz. My parents are, but I'm not.
Right.
Yeah, I have no idea what that is.
Yeah, it's not the equivalent of fresh off the boat or sort of that.
No.
Slur. No.
Yeah.
Okay. It's not nothing to do with food, is it? Sounds like it's a food type.
No, it's well, it's like a. I don't know how to. The slurs are so irrational. It's hard to explain why that's a slur.
Okay.
Yeah.
Is it a thing that, if out of context, would not be taken as a slur? Like, I went down the shops and bought a.
Oh no, that's not a thing. Just a term to refer to Koreans in China.
In China, there you go. And right, so you're in a minority. You're being picked on. Is that what helps with comedy?
Not really. I mean, occasionally people will say something, but overall, it's pretty easy here. At least most people really can't tell the Koreans apart from the Chinese. Only like people who know me kind of knows this, and occasionally they say something, but it's not. As blatant as what I faced in America, because America I stood out more, then people can immediately recognize.
Well, not in the chemical engineering class, I'm sure.
Yeah.
90% Asians.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, but you'd be surprised though, because one thing I noticed is that I think Jeremy Lin said the same thing. He was called...
He's a basketball player, for those who don't know.
Yeah, basketball player. Yeah, he is a basketball player who graduated from Harvard. He basically said he was called Asian slurs more in Ivy League schools than he was in NBA.
Oh, right.
Yeah, exactly. So just mainly because I think minorities tend not to call each other racial slurs because they know how much it hurts. Look, white people, nothing gets to them. Basically,
white people are immune.
Yeah, kind of immune. If you call them something, it's just, But the minorities are like, oh man, they're very sensitive to begin with. They're they're the minority. So it's just. I had fights with like black comedians before, but they would never say that to me. So yeah.
There we go.
Yeah.
So just a shout out to all the white people in this listening to this interview. Give the minorities a chance.
Yeah.
It's hard. Like, I'm from Australia, and parts of Melbourne, I'm the minority.
Really?
Yeah. I mean, it's Indians, there's Chinese, there's Vietnamese. There's now we've got a big influx of Africans from Ethiopia, Sudan. It is a very different country from maybe when you're on Charlie Pickering show. I don't know how long ago that was.
Yeah, man, that's like almost like 4 months ago.
Very.
But one thing I liked about Australia is in America there's always America is country of immigrants.
Yeah.
And then when I went to Australia, I asked a cab driver, so like, is Australia a country of immigrants? He said no. I said why? He was like, because the Aboriginals were here like thousands of years before us. But I kind of appreciate the attitude. They're like, they acknowledge the indigenous people there.
Yes. In fact, any government event, and often a large multinational or big corporation event, they will always acknowledge the original landowners as a welcome to land, welcome to country, actually it's called. We don't certainly want to get into politics about land in China. Let's not go there. Maybe when I'm not interviewing in Beijing. Well, fantastic. That's so that's a good segue, actually, talking about different cultures, and American Australian and African American, and you are an American citizen today. And you speak. I think all your comedies in English, or do you do some in Chinese?
I do both.
You do both?
I've been doing Chinese stand-up for 6 years now.
Right.
Yeah, because I'm hosting a TV show where I can tell some jokes. And I think the demographics is shifting. When I first did my stand-up comedy in Chinese in Shanghai, the audience are very uniform. You look into the crowd, everybody looks like either a college student or a white-collar professional. But now you get, older people or, like younger kids. So I think people are more and more used to stand-up comedy now in China.
Very good. And the show you just referred to, Shijindama, which means, is this true in Chinese?
Is it true?
And it's like a Mythbuster type, what is it? I remember one of your gags is the ice cubes in a vending machine dirtier than the toilet water.
Oh, yeah. Are there more bacteria in fast food restaurants' ice cubes than in the toilet water?
Yeah, right. And what was the result of that?
The result is yes. There's more bacteria in the ice cube than in the toilet water. So now I'm just thinking dogs are smarter than people.
There we go. Filling up my coffee cup from the Sistine. Well, that's a big shock. So that's Shijindama, and what channel is that on?
It's on CCTV 2.
Okay.
Yeah, it's not closed circuit TV. It's a Central China TV. It's the kind of like the ABC in Australia. Right?
You're right.
Yep.
So it's publicly owned, or like the BBC One, BBC Two type of scenario. Yeah. Does it broadcast digitally to the world, or can someone pick this up?
You can watch it on CNTV.com, which is the internet portal for CCTV. All their programs are on that portal.
Right.
Yeah.
Because there's If You Are the One has gone global. As a TV show, Chinese show about dating.
Oh, yes.
You probably know was it Fei
Chen Wu Rao.
Yeah. How is your trajectory with your show, Shijindama?
Yeah.
Are we getting close? Are we going to...
It's our goal, but it's not as popular as that show, I have to say. It's extremely popular because people want to... It's kind of like the Bachelor or Bachelorette in America.
Yeah.
Right? People want
You Are the One, your show.
Yeah. But my show has stand-up comedy and investigative reporting.
Yes.
So it's a different type of show.
Yeah.
Yeah, but still, but that show is, as long as you have a TV set in China, you can watch it.
Yeah.
So. Sometimes I even go to very remote areas, and people still kind of recognize me. That's kind of nice. But in big cities, as long as you keep your head down, people won't notice you. Because there are so many people. But if you go to a second-tier or third-tier cities, people recognize you from across the street and just say hi to you. Yeah.
There we go.
Yeah.
What do they say? Do they say, "Are you real, Shijindama?"
Yeah, is it real? Is that you?
Yeah.
Yeah. So they sometimes they say it. Well, in the first 2-3 years, they say it a lot. They thought, "Wow, I'm the only one who came up with this joke." You know, because a lot of people actually say this to me.
Oh, really?
Yeah, but then after a while, you know, the novelty kind of wore off. They just say, "Oh, are you in town for a comedy show?" Or
well, that's fantastic.
Yeah.
Going back a step to that's the Chinese audience. What about? So I saw you, and I thought. I recognise you. They introduced you as Joe Wong, and I'm like, that sounds familiar. And then as you're talking, I'm like, oh, of course I know who you are. And the audience that you were performing, it was an open mic on a Tuesday, I think.
Yeah. Thursday. Yeah.
Thursday was it?
Yeah.
And I was sitting. So I don't even know the time of day these days.
Yeah.
And the audience were primarily, I think, North Americans. There was one Mexican who was the MC. There was a Brit, Australian. I think everyone else was American. How do you, when you do comedy in English? So for anyone who's listening to this podcast, thinking, well, I can't come to China because I don't speak Chinese. Well, there's a lot of audience members that are not non-Chinese native English speakers in China, Shanghai, Beijing, Hong Kong.
Oh, yeah.
How do you modify your humour so that the Australians and the Americans, for example, are laughing simultaneously and not one group gets the joke and the other one doesn't?
Yeah, I mean, I didn't do this on purpose, but, you know, I was trying to cater my jokes to Americans, of course. You know, I started there and did stand-up there for, I don't know, like 10, 12 years before I moved away. But I try to use very simple words so everybody can understand.
Yeah.
Yeah, I learned it the hard way, you know, because... in order to study English, I actually memorized the Oxford Dictionary a couple of times.
That makes perfect sense.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, and then I went to America thinking that everybody knows every word in the dictionary for some reason. Yeah, yeah, and then I would say things like, "Oh man, I feel lugubrious today." Like, what the hell are they talking about? And as a result, I actually lost some friends because they thought I was pretentious. Yeah, because and then later on, in order to do stand-up, I have to, you know, kind of change my vocabulary to be more colloquial.
Yeah.
You know? Yeah.
Oh, that's funny because I do know you as a very humble comedian. To be, I don't know, colloquious. What does that mean?
It's just like more like it's a conversational. It's like use everyday words.
Oh no, but the word that you sorry, what was the word that you demonstrated? From the Oxford Dictionary.
Yeah, lugubrious.
Lugubrious.
Yeah.
What does that mean?
That just means kind of gloomy, sad, you know, heavy, you know, not very happy, not a great day for me.
Oh, there we go. We've all learned something. No, I've seen you as humble. And you know, I walked up to you as a nobody and introduced myself, and here we are today. So...
well, you're not nobody.
Well, my wife thinks I'm a somebody. I'm someone to somebody. So I'm saying you're humble, and you're so humble that you won't admit that, I'm sure. But is that a skill or a personality trait that you think has helped you grow your comedy career?
I'm not sure it's helping. I'm pretty sure it hurt my career at some point.
Wow.
Yeah, because you know, this is show business. You know, people have no idea what project's going to succeed, to be honest. Nobody knows.
Yeah.
So a lot of times you got to have some bravado and brag a little bit to sell yourself, you know. But I think that's kind of my weakness. I don't sell myself very well, and especially in China, you know, like selling yourself is such a big deal here. But that's just something I didn't quite master. Like in America, you have your agent, your manager to go with you, but still, you know, like sometimes it's the style of your comedy is more important than your jokes. So. And that's something I'm still learning, you know.
Right. I love how you, so humble, you say, I don't really sell myself, but at the opening of this, I talked about you being on the David Letterman show, the Ellen DeGeneres, Stephen Colbert, Charlie Pickering show, the White House Correspondents' Dinner, but I don't really sell myself. What? Okay.
I still remember the 2 days before I got on Letterman show. That was after I did stand-up comedy for 8 years.
Right.
I was still the opening for a guy who just did stand-up for 6 months.
Oh, what?
Yeah, it's just because he's a good friend of the bookers.
There you go.
I know. It's like I have to open for him, driving like 2 hours to Vermont to do a show in the snow and then drive back. I'm like, oh man, I can't believe I just opened for this new kid who doesn't have any jokes yet.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Oh, that's, again, humble.
Wow. Well, not just humble, just like that just shows, it's very tough life with stand-up comedians. Sometimes it's all, what people think of you, who you know, you could be very inexperienced, but you're in a good relationship with a good booker, then you could be a headliner or a middler, So.
Yeah, I think that's an important, even in Australian markets as well.
Oh, yeah.
Exactly the same.
I know, yeah. So you have to be prepared. It's a tough hustle there.
Yeah. I've seen people burn bridges. And cuts off an avenue of revenue for their entire life because of that bad relationship.
Yeah.
What other advice? That's great advice. What other advice would you give? Because the people listening to this podcast are up and comers.
Oh yeah.
Maybe a year in. Maybe they've actually not done comedy, but they want to.
Oh yeah. I've seen a lot of people give up. I would say that 95% of the new comedians will give up within a year.
Yeah, right.
That's probably a very conservative estimate. Yeah. But if you want to keep going, you got to love comedy itself, because it's, I've been in, like you said, in the biochemistry field. Yeah. In most other fields, there's kind of a clear path where you can go. But with comedy, if you look at the career paths of different comedians, everybody's different. Yeah. So the most important thing is persistence. You got to keep at it. Yeah. And another one is just kind of be a good person. Sometimes you never know. The door guy at a comedy club may become the booker someday. Yeah. Yeah. So just don't go in with an attitude, I'm the best. Nobody's the best. So. That, and also just keep working, writing new material, just live through the thrills and the pain with comedy. It's in the end, I think it's still rewarding. You have something that most other people don't have. That's something valuable. Even though, let's just say, most people probably do stand-up comedy their entire life without getting on TV. Yeah. But that's still something that most other people don't have. So,
no, sure.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah. I think presentations, they say people would rather be in the casket than give the eulogy.
Oh yeah.
That's the famous expression. So stand-up comedy is an extra level above that because you're not reading a script. You're coming from your ideas. No script. Yeah. And they have to laugh.
Oh yes, exactly. Yeah. And once you create it, it's yours. It's you have it's part of you. It's great. Yeah.
And we have, and to borrow from your own words, we have one thing in common. Yeah. We both have a Chinese wife.
Oh yeah. Oh wow, they're the best. Yeah.
Which was your ending, I think, at the Colbert show, wasn't it? That was your close, which got a lot of laughs. Which, I laughed as well, so I took no offence. I have lived in China since 2001, so I think that's fair enough, isn't it?
Yeah.
Fantastic. Now, I know, Joe, that you have to have a phone call with your American manager.
Yeah.
So obviously things are happening in the US. So what is happening over the next couple of weeks, months, or even the rest of the year for Joe Wong?
Okay. I'm doing some English stand-up comedy shows in Shunyi. It's a suburb of Beijing, like March 22nd. March 23rd, I'm sorry. Yeah. And there's some shows in between, like there's a show in Wuhan on April 12th, and then another show in Shenzhen on June 1st. So these are the preliminary dates, and we're adding more dates there.
Awesome.
Yeah. In the meantime, I'm hoping to work with Charlie Pickering again.
Yeah?
On some of his TV programs there.
Yeah, and as a foreign correspondent? Or?
Probably foreign correspondents.
Awesome.
And if we're lucky, we can get him on my show here.
Yeah.
Depending on a lot of factors, of course. With the TV here, it's hard to say, but I'm hoping.
Yeah, at least get him over here and do some stand-up. He's a very funny man.
Oh yeah.
On screen and on stage.
Oh yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Fantastic. Well, that's awesome. So nothing in America. You're just keeping fires burning in the States, or?
Yeah. Well, in America, every time I go there, I will do some shows, but I go there mostly for meetings and stuff. Yeah.
Right, in chemical engineering.
Yeah,
Meetings for.
Yeah, the first annual mechanical engineering committee meeting.
How do we combine those two?
Yeah.
I think. There is one other comedian that you could employ. If you can't do that gig, and that is Jeff Green.
Jeff Green. Oh yes, you mentioned that.
Yeah, the
before,
British comedian lives in Melbourne now.
Oh really?
And he's a chemical engineer as well.
Oh wow.
So.
Melbourne is a lovely city. I've been there twice. Yeah.
You have.
Yeah.
No, it is, and every day I walk through Beijing, I wonder why I'm here.
Yeah.
No, I don't. I love Beijing. It's wonderful too. I was just thinking, you and Jeff Green are like. Talk about your biology. Convergent evolution. You are born in Jilin, of Korean heritage, living in China, moved to America. He's British, developed his career in the UK, but you both came from the same root source, which was chemical engineering.
Oh, I see. Yeah.
The kernel.
Okay.
At the very core of your being was the same.
Wow. Well, to this day, I'm ashamed to say that I can't tell British accent from Australian accent yet. But hopefully, one of these days I should be able to, I guess.
There we go. Well, I did at the off mic. I did run through a whole bunch of Australian comedians' names. And to be fair, you didn't know many of them. So I think you need to subscribe to this podcast yourself, Joe. And listen to the other 79 or 80 interviews that I've done. With some very funny people. They're not yet Charlie Pickering, so I will make sure he's on.
Okay, I hope he can get on your podcast soon.
Yeah, fantastic. Well, Joe, thank you very much for your time.
Yeah, thanks a lot. Appreciate it. Yeah,
thank you.
Yeah, good luck with everything.
Yes.
Yeah.